Hey, mom friends! This is Functional Medicine for Moms, where we look at motherhood through the lens of functional medicine. I'm your host, Kelly Moline, a pharmacist with advanced training in functional medicine. From pregnancy and postpartum to everyday parent life, we talk root causes, natural solutions, and real stories from our own family's journey, plus conversations with experts along the way.
If you've ever wondered why your baby struggles with sleep, digestion, or constant tension, or why you feel you're stuck in fight or flight since becoming a mom, this episode is for you. Today, we're breaking down the nervous system, why it matters so much during pregnancy and early childhood, and what you can do to actually support it. So by the end of this episode, moms will understand how the nervous system impacts pregnancy, postpartum, babies, and toddlers, and walk away with calm, practical ways to support regulation without overwhelm. So today I have Dr. Morgan Malpass here with me. And Dr. Morgan Malpass is a neurologically focused chiropractor, wife and mom, and the owner of Continuum Chiropractic in Argyle, Texas. She provides nervous system-based chiropractic care for the entire family and is Webster certified. She supports infants, children, and adults by addressing how stress, birth experiences, and daily life impacts the body, blending evidence-based chiropractic care with functional principles to help families adapt, regulate, and thrive. Welcome, Dr. Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here and so excited to talk about nervous system and how chiropractic can help pregnancy moms and babies, because I know I experienced a lot of that beneficial help with my baby Danielle through when she was really small to even now for maintenance. And then I did as well through pregnancy and postpartum too. So I've seen the benefits. So I want to share how other people can benefit as well. Let's get into really what is the nervous system. I feel like that's a big buzzword right now. So can you just jump into that?
Yeah. So your nervous system is a master control system for everything, all your organs, all your systems, the way that your body is able to move, adapt, thrive, all of things. So your master communicator starts with your brain, goes down into your spinal cord. And so whenever we think about nervous system based care, we're focusing on the brain and body connection. So where chiropractic is relatively a mechanical type of profession, we take the mechanics and turn it neurological. So the master communicator of the nervous system, is the nervous system. But what we do as chiropractors, are you wanting the more chiropractic side of things? Or are you wanting more just talk to me about nervous system based everything?
All of it. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll shoot on the chiropractic and then I'll go into more in depth what that looks like.
Yeah.
So your body craves efficiency. So your nervous system wants to be as efficient as possible. When there are blocks within the system, so subluxation is the word that chiropractors use, but misalignments of your spine that hold your nervous system. When there are subluxations or blocks within the system, your body cannot make the brain-body connection as efficiently. And because it craves efficiency, it causes extra stress to build up within the body. When we have extra stress in the body, our body resorts to compensating for certain things, and that compensatory pattern affects all of your organs and organ systems. So we get things like tired, extra fatigue, ADD, and other diagnoses, digestion, all of that gets affected. So if we think about your master communicator not being able to efficiently communicate because it's stuck in a pattern of stress, then chiropractic comes in and removes that stress. We adjust for the subluxations within the nervous system to help that brain-body connection work as efficiently as possible.
Great. So does all chiropractic then help that, or do some chiropractic help it in different ways?
Yeah. So every chiropractor can adjust. It's the way that they go about the process of adjusting. So for me, for example, I use nervous system based scanning through Insight technology. So that captures your heart rate variability, your thermal scanning, which is your organ systems and how they're operating, and then a surface EMG, which captures the actual amount of energy at each segmental level that your body is trying to fight through to get that brain body connection. So I can make a nervous system based care for that patient based on what blockages are the primary, what are secondary, and it gives me more information than just guess and check. So where I could use a leg length check, or I could use multiple different techniques, they're all great. But knowing exactly where to put the input and how to put the input is super important, especially in neurological based care. So again, every chiropractor adjusts for misalignment, subluxations. We all call it something a little bit different, but we all release tension in the spine. We all put the body at ease. That is standard across the board. But for more complex cases, like a colicky baby, well, it could be from their neck from birth trauma, but it could be from their mid back because they're in such fight or flight mode that they're
Arching.
expanding and arching their back so much.
Yeah.
So now they're getting reflux. Now they're getting poor digestion. Now they're getting latching difficulties. So knowing with the insight technology, or knowing nervous system based care, how to put input into their spine to help their bodies relax and be at ease the best.
Amazing. So, why does this play such a big role in pregnancy, postpartum, and childhood?
Yeah. So pregnancy and postpartum is a huge, massive neurological shift. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. It's not just creating a human, it's your whole body, all your hormones, your whole nervous system is creating another nervous system. So if you can imagine how hard that is on a body to do, and we're created beautifully and masterfully and wonderfully made by God. But if you put into perspective what our bodies are going through physically, just on a physical sense, you know that your nervous system is overly stressed, overly tired. And then birth itself is not, although beautiful in so many ways, does not always go as planned, as you've probably heard multiple times. So whenever we think about the birth experience, even the most natural vaginal deliveries are still a traumatic experience for both you and baby. And so if we think about maybe even how baby was sitting in the canal, that could have put extra strain on your hips, your hip joint. That's your pelvic floor. Then you're getting into pelvic floor dysfunction postpartum, or baby was stuck in a little nook. And so now where their brain body connection in the upper neck is affected, now they come out and they're so beautiful, but now they're starting to revert towards torticollis. Latching difficulties are really big right now to see. And so that's where chiropractic comes in. We help to alleviate stress and tension throughout the body during pregnancy by adjusting very specific points of the body. The sacrum is the most important, I would say, during pregnancy through the Webster technique. But whenever you're looking at a postpartum, we're looking at the upper neck really, really specifically in order to ease that tension. Because again, no matter how beautiful pregnancy and birth and all of those things are, they are a traumatic experience on the nervous system.
A couple things I want to touch on that you said. One, the upper neck thing. Is that because you're nursing more and so you're like more hunched, or is that for something else?
So yeah, that is a big factor. So postural patterns play a huge role in nervous system based care too, or a huge role in chiropractic care in general. Whenever our body is in this stressed mode, you have to think about how we were when we were little bitty babies. It's called the fetal position. This is our protection mode. And so when we're breastfeeding, we kind of resort back to that protection mode that our body is so used to being in. But that's a postural shift that we're meant to be erect, we're meant to be upright. And so when we're reverting back to this, we need someone, chiropractor, to help open us back up and ease our nervous system from being in that fetal position, breastfeeding, holding baby. Again, we need to be in that position. So it's important to help our body ease out of it whenever we're not breastfeeding. So for the other 2.5 hours, like how is our body when we're not breastfeeding? Or 2 hours if you're have latching difficulties.
Yeah. And then you also touched on the Webster technique, and you
Yeah.
said that you're Webster certified. So can
Yes.
you dive a little bit into the difference between Webster certified and not Webster certified? Because I know a lot of chiropractors still work on pregnancy or babies even when they're not. So
Yeah.
what to look for?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Webster certification is a certification through the ICPA. So, it is a separate organization. After you graduate from chiropractic school, you can complete the certification. It's an extra 18-hour course with mandated testing as well. But what it comes with is a huge information overload really about pregnancy, postpartum, so that you can care for those patients. It also is a strict adjusting technique and adjusting style. So where any chiropractor can adjust anyone, this one talks about the mechanics of a mom or a pregnant woman. So any weight bearing person can receive the Webster technique, but it's usually specifically catered to pregnancy. So it's a separate technique, separate training that you get in order to care for the prenatal population.
Yeah. When I was pregnant, I asked this question, and it seemed like the answer was if you're healthy and normal, you can kind of go to any chiropractor pregnant. But if you have more specific needs, you can go to Webster certified. But now that I have Danielle and I am having her go to someone like more specific with it, I think it would be still beneficial if you're healthy and pregnant to go to someone Webster certified. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, I like Webster certification specific doctors mostly because they've taken the time to expand their knowledge and expand their adjusting skills. Because I know what we learned in school, and I didn't learn any of that in school.
Sure.
So going through the seminar and going through the certification process is really, I mean, bare bones minimum to be able to see a pregnant patient. But more than anything else, there is a great resource online to be able to search in your area through ICPA for kids, and I can send it to you that you have access to. Everyone has access to see who in their area is Webster certified. And that one, again, it's more for the prenatal population, but whenever you start working through ICPA, a lot of the trainings are pediatric focused as well. So I do all my continuing ed through ICPA. So I have extra knowledge for pediatrics as well. So usually you can trust that Webster certification would allow prenatal and pediatrics to kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's what I saw that or seemed to be more benefits to going to someone who's Webster certified. So once you share that with me, I'll drop that in the show notes as well
Yeah.
so that our listeners can look for that too. And when I'm pregnant next, that's what I'll be aiming for as well.
It's good that you're saying next. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, whenever that happens, not yet, but
Yeah.
it'll be yeah, I have like my things that I'm like, okay, this is what I've learned and this is how
Yeah,
I do it different.
absolutely.
Hey, really quick before we jump back in, I just want to share this in case it's meant for someone listening right now. If you're a mom who feels like you're just surviving the day, relying on caffeine just to function, or if you've been feeling off in your body, even months or a year postpartum, you are not alone. I also work with women who are trying to prepare their body for their first pregnancy or their next pregnancy and want to do it a natural, proactive way. Through my functional medicine practice, I offer a health analysis appointment where we really take the time to look at your symptoms, your health history, your lifestyle, and decide which labs would actually be helpful for you. That might include things like cortisol and hormone testing, gut health, metabolic health, and more. And all of these labs get shipped directly to your home, so it's very convenient. Once results come in, we walk through them together so you can fully understand what's going on in your body, and we build a personalized supplement and health plan with optional coaching support as well. The goal isn't quick fixes, it's optimizing your health naturally and giving your body what it needs to heal the way it was designed to. If this sounds like something you've been needing, you can find a link in the show notes to learn more or schedule a call. All right, let's jump back in.
Okay, so can you tell me how pregnancy and birth impact a mom's nervous system?
Yeah. So impacting the nervous system would be more so getting through that birth that we just talked about, getting through pregnancy and postpartum. Postpartum really, I think, is more so what we haven't hit on yet, which is where your body has an influx of hormones. You have all of the crashes, all of the highs, you have the oxytocin release every feed, you get contractions in your uterus every time a baby latches. So there's a lot of things going on postpartum, and women that haven't experienced it yet don't really know what to expect. And you can't prepare someone for that beforehand. So whenever we're talking about labor and delivery preparation for chiropractic specifically, if I told someone what I know now, it would just be too much information. So we take it all in stride. We don't want to overwhelm the nervous system with what postpartum looks like for everyone, because it's not the same for everyone. But it's huge hormone shifts. It's a huge stress response on the body. And so it's really, really important to get your body nervous system relaxed, whether that be through therapy. There are so many great postpartum therapists that I know would have helped me tremendously get through my postpartum journey. There's prayer. I am a believer, and so I leaned on prayer heavily. I think that another way that you can calm your nervous system through pregnancy, birth, postpartum, all of those fun things, would be through communicating with friends and the same life stage as you. So making sure that you are communicating with people that are checking in on you and having a really great village is really, really helpful.
Yeah, for sure. It's that mind, body, and spirit connection. Like you're
Yeah, absolutely.
perfect. Can you review what signs of nervous system dysregulation in babies, toddlers, and even moms?
Yeah, yeah. So let me start with babies because I think that's really, really fun to hit on. So babies are amazing. They have three jobs. They have eat, they have sleep, and they have poop. Those are the three best things that babies can do. And so, whenever it comes to infants and newbornhood, if any of those are affected through stress, sometimes it's from birth, sometimes it's just how babies are. So, if we have any of those three eat, sleep, poop that are areas that are a little bit harder for babies to, or more difficult for them to get through. So it could be extra fussiness, it could be reflux, it could be colic. It just is a big, big sign that their body is under stress. So it might seem like, okay, well, my baby is just a little bit more fussy. That's fine, but are they eating, sleeping, pooping? Those are the three things I really want to know. Because if their body's in stress mode, their body turns that into more of a survival mode. And it doesn't mean that something is wrong. It just means that their body's working way harder than it needs to. And that's where a chiropractor comes in to help ease that tension of the body and to where those three things are so easily done. So, eating, sleeping, and pooping. When we're looking at that for postpartum or pregnancy, that looks like sciatica, that looks like SPD, that looks like reflux up here. And yes, the wives' tale is my baby has a full head of hair, but there are a lot of babies that have full heads of hair that the mom didn't have any reflux. So that's where getting adjusted comes in. We can release the diaphragm, release the round ligaments, adjust the pubic bone, release those sacrotuberous ligaments that are so tight during pregnancy around the end of the sacrum, the tailbone. Help open up the pelvic floor so that we can have a really open birth canal for baby to go through. All of those things. So that's what stress looks like, or nervous system regulation, dysregulation, I guess you would say, looks like in prenatal and pediatrics.
Perfect. Yeah, a couple personal notes on that. When I was pregnant, I heard a lot that, like, I was aiming for a natural pregnancy, and so I heard that chiropractic can really help that, because it doesn't have to work as hard to, deliver a baby, and
Yeah.
being aligned can be really helpful. And then with Danielle, I reached out to a Webster certified chiropractor because she was, like, really fussy, and our regular chiropractor it didn't seem to make that much of a difference. So when I took her to more of a specialty chiropractor, I saw a difference like immediately that night.
Immediately.
Because, we are suffering from the witching hour and all of that. And then I think it's so normalized too of, oh, the baby just has colic, or, I work at a pharmacy where we do a lot of compounding for reflex medications for babies and
Yeah.
stuff too. And a lot of that is
Yeah.
really, really normalized, but I know that we could talk about like, okay, what else could we do for them?
Right. Right. And again, this is not saying anything is wrong with your baby. My son, and I have a personal anecdote at the end, but my son, the sleep part was always our biggest thing. I was so fortunate that he latched. I was so fortunate that he was a happy baby, but he just didn't sleep. So, that's a big, big sign. Those are one of the 3 pillars he wasn't achieving. And so I was very fortunate enough to work at a clinic that he got adjusted 3 times a week, sometimes more. I felt so bad. I was up there every day. I would drive 45 minutes there. I would drive 45 minutes home because I'm like, something is up. And I know that something is up. So what are we going to do about it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. You
So
don't have to suffer.
thank you for sharing. I know that's the witching hour can feel like the world is just closing in, and especially because it's always at night. So then the sundown scaries. And again, you're right, they're normalized. And it's not normal. It's common, but it's definitely not normal.
Yeah. I have friends who just had a newborn too, and they're talking about like the cluster feeding and stuff at night, which is also can be part of it. And cluster feeding can also be exhausting and all of that, which could, I'm assuming, take more stress to your nervous system as a mom and all of that too.
Yeah. That affects your supply and everything.
I'm actually going to pause our conversation here today so we can keep these conversations a little bit more bite-sized for busy mom life. But don't worry, the rest of my conversation with Dr. Morgan drops next Wednesday, and you're not going to want to miss it. We're diving into the simple, realistic steps you can start taking right away to support your baby's nervous system and your own, what to actually look for in a pediatric or prenatal chiropractor more than just Webster certification, when to start going during pregnancy or after birth, and a few things most parents don't even realize they should be paying attention to. So make sure you're subscribed so part 2 shows right up on your feed. Thanks so much for listening to my podcast, Functional Medicine for Moms. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe so you never miss one, leave a quick 5-star review, and share it with your mom friends who love it too. I'm Kelly with a background as a pharmacist and training in functional medicine. I help women move past fatigue, brain fog, gut issues, and hormone struggles so they can thrive in everyday life or prepare for a healthy pregnancy. Through lab testing, personalized supplements, and functional medicine coaching, I help you feel better, faster, naturally. Want to connect more? Head over to molinmethod.com or come hang out with me on Instagram and YouTube at Functional Medicine for Moms. On my site, you can order professional grade supplements at my discount or book a free discovery call if you'd like to see how we can work together on your health. This podcast is for educational purposes only and not medical advice. Always talk to your provider before making changes to your health plan. And remember, healthy moms raise healthy families. Catch you next time. New episodes released every Wednesday.